Hi, this is Alan Gleeson for Crossfadr. In this video, I'm going to look at a noise reduction plugin from Audionamix called Instant Dialogue Cleaner, or IDC. As its name suggests, its speciality is reducing various types of unwanted noise on dialogue recordings. There are other plugins on the market that address similar issues, but IDC has a few extra features that make it worth checking out. To begin with, let's look at what it's designed for, cleaning up some dialogue. So on my first track here in Pro Tools, I've made a recording of myself talking, but I've used the built-in microphone on my laptop. As a result, the recording has lots of background noise. There's noise of machines in the room where it's recording, so it's a good test to see what IDC can do. The interface itself is very clean. We've got the main setting in the middle here is the background, which allows us to dial down the background noise. Interestingly, with this plugin, it allows you to actually increase the background noise. This can be particularly useful in post-production when you want to maybe say accentuate the room tone or the background atmosphere on a recording. On the left hand side, we can adjust the strength of the actual noise reduction. Now, if you're familiar with using noise reduction plugins, when they're pushed too hard, they tend to introduce unwanted artifacts. So this strength control here allows you to adjust and control some of those unwanted characteristics. Over on the right hand side here, this is an interesting feature that I haven't seen in any other noise reduction plugins, is that when you start to apply noise reduction, often the item that you want to preserve also gets attenuated somewhat. And this control over on the right allows you to compensate for that, adjusting the level of the speech in your recording. Down at the bottom, we've got an output level, because as a result of introducing some noise reduction, it can affect the output level, whether you're reducing the background noise or actually increasing it. On this recording here, as I mentioned, it has a lot of background noise in it intentionally. I've also applied a bit of compression beforehand just to reduce the dynamic range and bring up the noise floor even further. So I'll play the recording and we'll look at the controls in action.
So in this recording, I'm recording in using the built-in mic.
So you can hear there's a lot of noise on it.
I'm in a room that's a bit ambient.
So I'm going to dial down the background noise.
Machines on in the background, like a hard disk running quite close to the computer. So when I'm not talking, a lot of this noise is going to come through in the background, particularly if I record at not high enough level. I want to boost or process this afterwards. Any noise that's in the signal, it's going to also be boosted.
So I can bypass the plugin by clicking on this power icon here, or using the typical bypass on the plugin in whatever DAW you're using. I'll play the recording again and I'll bypass it so we can hear clearly what the effect of the plugin is actually doing.
So in this recording, I'm recording in using the built-in mic from my laptop. I'm in a room that's a bit ambient, and I've also got various machines on in the background, like a hard disk running quite.
So it is reducing a lot of noise. There's a few artifacts coming into it there, but that's to be expected with this amount of noise reduction that I'm applying, because the recording itself is quite poorly recorded. To address some of these issues, I'll dial back on the strength, and I'll also show you the effect of the speech control here, which allows us to increase or decrease the level of the dialogue that we're trying to preserve.
So in this recording, I'm recording in using the built-in mic from my laptop. I'm in a room that's a bit ambient, and I've also got various machines on in the background, like a hard disk running quite close to the computer.
So obviously when you push up the speech, the overall recording is going to get a lot louder, so you can compensate for that with your output here.
So in this recording, I'm recording in using the built-in mic from my laptop. I'm in a room that's a bit ambient, and I've also got various machines on in the background.
So again, we'll bypass it.
So in this recording, I'm recording in using the built-in mic from my laptop. I'm in a room that's a bit ambient, and I've also got various machines on in the background, like a hard disk running quite close to the computer. So when I'm not talking.
So it's really managed to clean up the dialogue there. You could say the recording to begin with wasn't very professionally recorded, but it's done a good job in enhancing it and making it more presentable. In the second example here I'm going to look at, I've got an issue that can often occur on a recording, in that this recording has a lot of room tone on it, and there's also some noise from outside. I deliberately recorded it this way so we can see the effect of IDC in action. Again, I've applied some compression, so to bring up the noise floor even more. So now this is the recording here that we're listening to. So when I start to play it. So here's another example in which the recording of dialogue has quite a lot of room sound on it. If I also pause for a minute, there's a bit of noise coming from outside in that there's a truck making some noise. So using IDC, we're going to apply it to this recording and see what results we can achieve. So here's another example in which the recording of dialogue has quite a lot of room sound on it. If I also pause for a minute, there's a bit of noise coming from outside in that there's a truck making some noise. So using IDC, we're going to apply it to this recording and see what results we can achieve. So you can hear in that example there that the noise coming from outside was totally reduced, and it managed to isolate the vocal from the room tone. So as I mentioned, we can actually increase the background level if we wanted to. Often in post-production, you want to actually have more room tone in the recording to add more realism to the recording if you've recorded dialogue in a particular room and you want to emphasize that space. So I'll reset this back to 0. I'll reset my speech level. I was giving it a bit of boost there. And now this time I'm going to actually increase the background level. So you'll hear the room tone coming up, and also in the pause in the middle there, you'll hear the truck and noises coming from outside. So here's another example in which the recording of dialogue has quite a lot of room sound on it. If I also pause for a minute, there's a bit of noise coming from outside in that there's a truck making some noise. So using IDC, we're going to apply it to this recording and see what results we can achieve. So you can hear there that's really affecting the dynamic of the recording, bringing up the background noise, the room tone. So this is really interesting, and you can apply it not only to speech, but any type of material, including musical loops, to alter the balance of the vocal, top line or melody in the loop, and then the arrangement of the other elements in the background. It's also particularly useful for altering the dynamic of drum loops. The final example I'm going to look at is actually, I've got a recording of outdoor atmosphere. So in this recording, there is actually no dialogue. So I'm using it more here to alter the balance of what's in the foreground and what's in the background. Mostly what you'll hear is birds tweeting, and in the background there's various wind and other outdoor atmosphere. So I'll dial down the background. And I guess what it's seeing as the top line or the dialogue in this sense is what the birds are doing. So I'm going to go the opposite way. Now this time I'm going to actually increase the background. So it's keeping the birds generally at the same level, but the other noise and wind in the trees that was in the original recording has now been amplified even further. Sometimes with these settings, the strength doesn't really have much of an effect, and depending on what it's isolating, you can hear the speech has less of an effect there. But you can hear that it is definitely isolating the background while leaving the center material, or in this case the bird singing, unaffected. So you can see there, for the most part, it does what it's actually designed to do. Very good at isolating dialogue from various background noises, but it also has other benefits for actually allowing you to alter the dynamic of the material, bring up the background noise, which is useful not only in dialogue based material but also other types of musical loops. So definitely worth checking it out. Head over to Audionamix.com for further information. This has been Alan Gleeson for Crossfadr. Remember to click the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to date on our new videos.